Many traders spend months looking for perfect indicators, trading strategies, or trading systems. However, perfect or experienced traders knows that trading is not all about the system, but it is 70% psychology or mindset. A profitable strategy can fail by lack of emotions. It can fail when you are thinking of other things, yet your system is very strong and can be profitable, and it is even tested being profitable. But since your mindset, the way you are trading, and the conditions before and after the trade determines a lot. A loss in trading is not just made by a bad strategy, but a loss comes by 70% is the mindset. What's the mindset? This is where emotions comes in. What you think, emotions will rise. That means you may end up forcing a trade. It may be a good setup, but before, to minimize the stop loss, you force the trade because you want to enter. Waiting. Many of the traders I know, they hate waiting. Yet this is the key to success. Waiting for your setup to be fulfilled. Make sure here you wait for your setup to be fulfilled 100%. Then you enter. And some traders, because of the emotions, you are greedy. You don't use stop losses, or you keep moving stop losses, which is very dangerous, and it damages your account because you set your stop loss. But again, something inside you tells you that price, instead of closing that trade, it will come back and return to your TP. And price ends up moving rapidly, and you end up losing the account. Number 4, some people doesn't risk management here. This is all emotions, what emotions bring. See, so today we are talking about that. And if you are a victim of this, please get where to note, get a paper, get a book. You can write something, some few points, so that we can move together step by step. Here we move step by step. I always tell you that risk 0.5 to 2%, so that you don't damage your account and don't damage the brain. Once you damage the brain, you will never be profitable. So if you risk 0.5 to 2%, that is enough. Because even if you lose 10 times, even if you lose 20 times, at least you can get one, but your emotions are, the pressure is low. You understand? So make sure, get a book, and always watch from the start to the end so that you don't miss anything. This episode is going to change the way you think in trading, the way you take your trades, the way you execute. So after this lesson, you will be able to execute trades without fear and without greed and without revenging. Some of you revenge trades. So please, you're welcome. I'm done. If you are new on this page, this group, this channel, I want to welcome you and I ask you to subscribe, please. Comment something. You may put a topic, you may put a question, I'll answer it gently. You can share to a friend such that we go together. This channel is simple. We go simple step by step such that you understand step by step. You are welcome. Let's start. We are starting with the 3 biggest trading emotions. These are 3. If you overcome these, I'm telling you, you will become profitable. Number 1 is fear. Fear in categories, like fear of losing money. You understand? Some people fears to lose that money. In the business, if you fear to lose, you cannot get. That means risk what you can handle. Don't over risk, leverage. Reduce your stop loss such that fear doesn't grow. That fear of losing money, you reduce the level of fearing losing money. If you take a trade of 0.5 to 0 to 2% of your equity, this fear will not come, because even if you lose 2, on 100, say you have a 100 account, and you risk $2 and you fear to lose it. No. You cannot fear it. So we have that fear of losing money, and it's bringing problems. Number two, fear of taking a trade. Some people think, my setup, is this setup ready? I've seen this, I'm seeing it. But still fear inside you comes in and tells you, but what if? What if you're noting, you can underline that word, what if. So when you think of that what if it turns, it will turn. I know it will turn. But that fear of what if, you have to develop a strong man inside you who executes the trades without fear. Fear of taking a trade. Someone can be with a very good setup, but at the end, that setup, he misses it. Fear of missing trades. That is number three, in fear still. Some people fears to miss a trade and you end up forcing it. By the way, if you're listening to this episode, that means you have ever made losses, you have ever passed through this, because many traders that I know, they like only lessons of a chart. I want a chart. I know you understand a chart. You can read the chart very well, but why are you not profitable? These are the things that also made me profitable. I had a strategy, but still, it was an excellent strategy, but still making a loss, making losses. So now these are the things that made me profitable. We were number three. Number three, it is the fear of missing. So you end up saying, what if price? What if price? What if price comes back? What if it doesn't meet my... No, you wait. That means you have to wait. Don't fear. You will end up forcing trades. Keep your strategy in right way. Trade it as it is. Wait for everything. Wait for your conferences. Be calm. Once you see everything, no fear. Just execute the trade. Yeah, the last thing is fear after experiencing a losing trade. That is a very big problem. Some people this is not over trading, but some people get a setup after making a loss. You make a setup, very perfect setup, but since you made a loss already, you have a loss, you fear to lose again. You fear to lose again, whereby you would have entered this trade and recovered everything. That's why you have to risk something that you are able to hold. So fearing, because it's like a snake. When you get a snake bite, you fear entering a forest because you think it will do it again. You understand? So the fear, because you have lost a trade. If a trade is that is gone, it is gone. Take it as a gone, anything like. So execute a trade once you get an opportunity. An opportunity is when you fulfill well your strategy 100%. When it is really fulfilled, then just execute the trade. Greed is number two. Greed causes traders to increase lot sizes unnecessary. Because you lost a trade, what you want to gain. Some of you use martingale, whereby you multiply. I hate that and never do that. It made me losses and losses of money. I cannot even imagine. Now, what you have to do, if you lose a trade, please don't increase uncalculated or unnecessary lot size because you want to recover. An example, if you lose $100, some of you have that mentality. You lose $100, so you want the next entry at least to give you $400 at your TP, which is very wrong. What do? You can maintain your position lot size because already you have a ratio, a good ratio. That is 1 to 3, 1 to 2, no, let me say 1 to 3, 1 to 4. It is already good. Even if you lose 3 times, you will recover in 1. So it causes you to increase unnecessary lot size. Never don't allow greed to bring you at that point. You crash your account totally. Yeah, some of you in greed, you ignore profit targets. You set your TP, but because you are seeing that you still need some money, you need money, you lost some money, so you need to recover. You end up moving TPs. That is also very dangerous because you already calculated your zone that when price moves, it will come up to this level. But here, people, you end up move. Don't aim much. Just get little, step by step. Just add on little by little, one by one, makes a bundle. So don't move your stop loss. Put your stop loss. It is very hurting. It is very hurting if price comes at the first position of your TP and you removed it, you moved it somewhere, and the price reaches there and again pulls back and takes your TP. That is that pain. You were already in profit. You had got your 1 to 3, the ratio, but then when price came back, it went, took. So then you become a market donor. There are people that I call donors. We have donors here. So avoid being a donor. Don't be a donor. Grab the small thing, grab something small, but instantly. You can grow instantly, step by step, consistently. I like a growing trader, not jumping from nowhere and grab profits. So learn to become a consistent, zero increasing trader. Yeah, this brings a very, very, very dangerous thing. That is over trading. Greed brings over trading, and you think you want to recover, you end up burning everything. Have you ever been there? On the chart, in the morning, London session, say, you make your profits or your loss. It may be profits or loss, but more so profits. This comes in profits. You make in the morning profits, you wait. Again, you trade, you make one loss. Again, you make another loss. Instead of stopping, again, you take another trade. You end up burning everything. You burn all the profits. And again, it enters in your equity. That means you're a good donor. You are a good donor. So, learn to avoid over trading. By the way, if you make you have to make a daily program. Yeah, if I make a loss, how many times do I go back in trading? Now me, if I make a loss, I go back once. If I make a profit, I don't do again. So even if I make a profit in London session, I rest. That is resting. I hate losing that money again. You understand? So if I make a loss, you can also make it your plan. It works. If you make a loss, go once. If you make a profit again, rest. If you make a loss again, rest. So don't again trade. That is, you avoid over trading. You remove stop losses hoping to make bigger profits. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. You remove stop loss, yes, SLs, and again you want the price. In fact, you want, you understand? You want price to return so that you make bigger profits. Very dangerous. This is my way of trading. This is how I trade, and it is very good. I set myself well. After getting an entry, I set my TP, and then I set my stop loss. Once I set them, sometimes I even close up the PC or the phone, I move. Oh, I sit, oh, I see, I go to other things to go with. Oh, I am here on YouTube, but my trades are moving. Why? I don't want to be intimidated by the market. You know, price can move and like you feel the heartbeat. You know, news come. So you end up moving your TPs and stop losses. So if you have entered a trade, I think it is always healthy. Leave a trade to move, do other things, wait for the trade, wait for a loss or a profit. Good enough, we can set alarms. You can set the alarm. Yeah, when the trade goes to the TP, you get the alarm, or to the SL, you get the alarm. Think that is the best thing. It will help you. It helps me. I set a trade. I'm ready to lose what I've risked, like the 2%. I'm very ready, such that when I he just listen to the alarm. Advice comes here. When you take a trade and lose it, if it was at 2%, my advice is the next trade, bring it at 1%. Look for the recovery to recover and get small profits. Don't leave it again. When you lose, bring it back. Some of you, when you lose, you want to increase such that you get more. But the trick is here. When you lose, reduce. When you win, reduce. Such that you reduce the temper. When you win $100, this time round, aim to get 50. Aim to get 50. That means you have reduced the lot size from the higher one to the smaller one, which you can handle. Because remember, you have already you are excited inside you. So you reduce that excitement by reducing the lot size. And even if you make a loss, reduce still. Don't stay with that high leverage or high lot size. That is a very good move you can do and become profitable.